In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the clone stamp. The clone stamp is a tool that's been around for a while in Photoshop, and it's a really fun tool. It allows you to, well, clone whatever it is on screen to a different location on screen. The clone stamp is located over here on the left, and it looks like a little stamp. And in fact, if you take your mouse and you simply hover over any one of these items long enough, it will show you exactly what the name is of the item. Again, the clone stamp is the one, though, over here on the left. And make sure you have the clone stamp and not the pattern stamp. All you do to use that clone stamp, and I want to show you what will happen if you don't quite do it right, is you're going to click, or you're going to alt-click rather, on your image, and you're going to start cloning. So first things first, if I click on an image and I don't use alt, it's going to pop up and say, hey, you need to make sure you hold down alt and then click to define your source point. So that's one issue you may run into. I'm going to hit OK on that, and I'm going to hold down alt, and you're going to see I get those crosshairs. So here's another issue that you're going to run into. So I'm going to hold alt, I'm going to click, and I'm going to let go now. All right, and so now I can move to a new area on the screen, and I can start painting. And you're going to see when you do that, you have an area on the left that's your circle, but if you look real close on the screen, you're going to see another little crosshair, and that's what I'm trying to paint. But you'll notice that there's actually nothing being painted right now. The reason for that is I'm actually on the wrong layer, and that's something you've really got to pay attention to in Photoshop. You've got to make sure you know what layer you're on at all times. You'll see over here on the right, I'm actually on my background layer, and what I want to do is be on my flower layer. This is a real easy fix. I simply click on my flower layer, and now I'm ready to go. So again, I want to define that point, so I'm going to hold alt, and I want to start right here on this red flower. So I click on that, I let go, and you'll now see that I have that red flower sitting inside of that circle. So if I simply start click and hold and painting that out, you're going to see that I now start painting those flowers directly over here. All right. And if I wanted to paint another set of them, I can hit, but I want it to go up here. I can't just come up here and start painting because it's not going to work. It's going to try painting whatever's way over here. So I'm going to hold alt. I'm going to click again. I'm going to let go. And I can now paint those up there. If I want to do it again, hold alt, click again, and paint. All right, and that's how you use the clone stamp. And again, you can see it's a really fun tool. It'll allow you to clone whatever it is that you want and basically make a second copy of it. This is really handy if in a later project that we're going to work on where we start trying to kind of manipulate our own image. If you want to give yourself an extra eye or anything like that, this is a great way to do that. Fun little tool to play with. One other thing that I should point out about the clone stamp is you can actually clone to different layers. So right now I've cloned all on this flower layer over here. If I wanted to make a new layer and clone onto that, I could do so. And that's handy because that way you can keep things separate if I wanted to move them. Right now, if I try to move anything, let's say I wanted to move this guy, I'm actually moving all four of those. Okay? So if I want to make a new layer, I click on that little post-it note looking icon on the bottom right, and now you'll see that I have a new layer. Additionally, I can click on the menu on the top right of my layers panel, and I can do a new layer there as well. So now I've got my new layer. It's layer 1. Again, I want to name that. So I'm going to double click on it, and I'm just going to say flower 2. And all I have to do is go to my original layer, again with my clone stamp. I'm going to define my source point by holding down alt and click. All right, now I've got that flower. I'm going to go back to my new layer, and I'm going to simply start painting there. And now you can see I can move that one independently of these four. All right, additionally, I could turn those off or turn that one off if I wanted to do so. Keeping things on separate layers is a really, really handy way of making sure you don't ruin your project. That's something that you're going to use all the time in Photoshop, and it's just really a habit that you need to get into.